Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Got a good show for you here today, guys. We are going to be talking about all 16 rounds of the draft. Now, I'm going to be breaking down every single round of the draft and how to approach them because, as we know, fantasy football changes a lot. So it's important to reassess this every year and look at, how we're going to approach our draft in the coming season. So I'm going to be breaking it down round for round for you guys. And so I'm going to be starting right here with the first thing on my list, and that is round one. Now, round one, we want to draft the centerpiece to our team, the player who's going to accumulate the most fantasy points for us outside of our quarterback, and, a player that's going to go off like pretty much every week and give you an awesome floor ceiling combination. Now, obviously, sometimes you end up getting your best player with your second, third, or fourth round pick, but it is critically important to make sure that we get our best player in round one and really hit on our first pick. So in order to do this, we're going to be wanting to target running backs to get 20 or more carries a game and are going to be receiving a healthy target share out of the backfield. Now, the one exception to this is Austin Ekeler. He's not going to get 20 carries a game for you, but he sees so many targets out of the backfield that for PPR formats especially, it more than makes up for the fact that he's probably going to average closer to 15 carries a game. But outside of that, you want running backs to get you 20 or more carries a game and are playing in offenses that give them high touchdown scoring upside. This is why Christian McCaffrey is a consensus first-round pick. He fits everything. He's going to get 20 or more carries in most games. He's going to see a ridiculous target share out of the backfield. He plays in an offense that produces a lot of points, and so he's going to get in the end zone like crazy, okay? So these are the kind of guys that we want to target in round one. Christian McCaffrey is a great first-round pick. If you get the 101, don't be afraid to take Christian McCaffrey with the first pick overall. And if you don't want to take a running back, you want to get a receiver that is going to, on average, give you 10 or more targets a game. Now, in today's NFL, it is totally realistic to expect a wide receiver to get 10 or more targets a game if they're a consensus first-round pick in fantasy. Guys like Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, these guys are going to receive 10-plus targets a game on average. And they also give you awesome big playability, high touchdown upside, everything like that. So that's what you want in a wide receiver that you're taking in round one. So make sure that they fit this profile if you're going to take them with a first-round pick. And when it comes to, if you say you have a pick at the back end of the first round and you don't have a wide receiver or a running back that you really, really want because they already were taken, don't be afraid to take Travis Kelce in the first round. I know that he's going to be older this coming season, but he is the number one pass catcher and the most efficient passing offense in the NFL with the best quarterback in the league. And, he's the best tight end of all time, especially for fantasy anyway. So don't be afraid to take Travis Kelce at the end of round one if there's not a running back or a wide receiver that you just feel like you absolutely have to have. Moving on to rounds 2 and 3. Now, rounds 2 and 3, the target share for wide receivers is going to be slightly down from the target share that we're going to see in round 1. So what you want in your players that you're taking in the second or third rounds are players with ridiculously high ceilings, right? So like when it comes to wide receivers, guys like Tyreek Hill, A.J. Brown, Jalen Waddle, these guys all have really high ceilings because of their talent and big playability. Now, Tyreek Hill, he can average more than 10 targets a game, and he's going as a consensus second-round pick. This is crazy to me. I think that Tyreek Hill should be taken in the first round. But if he slips to the second round, know that you are getting a player that has the combination of the ridiculous target share, the big playability, the touchdown upside. Everything is there for Tyreek Hill. I see him having a monster fantasy season again this coming year, so he's a great second-round pick. But, other wide receivers that, probably won't receive 10 or more targets a game but have awesome big playability are guys like A.J. Brown and Jalen Waddle. They produce awesome point totals for you in PPR leagues because they have great touchdown upside and awesome big playability due to their ridiculous talent levels. So those are the kind of wide receivers you want. And then you want, in rounds 2 and 3, you want running backs like DeAndre Swift, for example, because he provides you a ridiculous ceiling because of his awesome athleticism, his pass-catching abilities out of the backfield, the awesome dual-threat abilities that he possesses. All these things make him a great second- or third-round pick because, he might not get 20 or more carries a game, but he's going to see close to 18 carries a game, especially if Jamal Williams leads the team over the offseason. And so he's going to provide you some pretty awesome fantasy upside. So those are the kind of players you want to target in rounds 2 and 3. Moving on to rounds 4, 5, and 6. Now, rounds 4, 5, and 6. This is where you want to draft an elite quarterback. Now, in the past, I've said to wait until rounds 9 or later to draft a quarterback, but this has changed. The high ceilings for the quarterbacks in fantasy now because of their awesome rushing upside has made it to where quarterbacks are significantly more valuable in fantasy than they used to be. So you need to go ahead and try to grab guys like Jalen Hurts and Pat Mahomes in these rounds. Now, Josh Allen will probably already be off the board, but there's a good chance that Jalen Hurts and Pat Mahomes are still available. And if you have the opportunity, try to get one of these guys on your team. And if you're not able to get one of these quarterbacks, this is a perfect time, rounds 4, 5, and 6, to start gambling on awesome rookie running back talent. Guys like, Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. Go ahead and get these guys on your team. A perfect example of a running back that went off before he got hurt last year that was drafted right around this time of the draft was Breece Hall, and a lot of people thought he was too much of a gamble because being a rookie. But guys, these rookies obviously have the ability to pop off in their first year in the league. We've seen this trend over the past years in fantasy, over the recent years in fantasy. Go ahead and gamble on the ridiculously talented rookie running backs in rounds 4, 5, and 6 because they could end up being league-winning players for you. And then also, rounds 4, 5, and 6, what you want to look to do is to add more target hog wide receivers. Guys like Keenan Allen and Christian Watson and DeAndre Hopkins are all going in rounds 4, 5, and 6. So you can still draft target hog wide receivers in these rounds. Now, the super elite running backs that we know are going to give you guaranteed production are already off the board. When it comes to running backs, you're going to have to gamble on the rookies. But when it comes to wide receivers, you can get seasoned veterans that have already been in the league and proven themselves, guys like DeAndre Hopkins and Keenan Allen, that are going to be target hog wide receivers, and they're going to provide you ridiculous fantasy upside. You can get those guys in these rounds. So make sure to grab those, DeAndre Hopkins, Keenan Allen in these rounds. And then obviously the second year, Christian Watson is going to be a target hog as well. Moving on to rounds 7 through 10. If you have not drafted a quarterback yet, you absolutely need to draft a quarterback now. Guys that are going around 7 through 10, like Deshaun Watson. I've been talking about Deshaun Watson in a lot of my recent videos. He's going right around this time in the draft. So, he's a really good quarterback to, take in these rounds. Trevor Lawrence is right around this as well. Trevor Lawrence is going around 7 through 10. So if you haven't drafted a quarterback yet, make sure to go ahead and draft a quarterback in this window of the draft, rounds 7 through 10. And then also, players that are in this range because a lot of uncertainty is as far as their role in the offense, right? If we knew that they were going to be the number one player in their offense, he would be drafted way higher. So what you want to target at this point in the draft is just pure talent, okay? If a player isn't going to have the number one role in their offense, you can at least gamble on the fact that they're a ridiculously talented player and think that, hey, they might produce me some awesome fantasy totals just because of their raw talent and ability. This is a perfect time in the draft to draft players that are categorized as breakout players. Sleepers come a little bit later, but a lot of the breakout players come in around 7 through 10. So study your breakouts and make sure to know who these guys are and bet on talent in rounds 7 through 10. Moving on to rounds 11 through 14. This is when you really want to know your sleepers. Your guys like, I did a sleepers video the other day. You can go check it out. It's, wide receivers that have massive sleeper upside. I posted that video like 5 days ago on my channel, so go ahead and go check that out. But this is when you want to really know who the sleeper wide receivers are, and just the sleepers for any position, running back, quarterback, any position. This is where the sleepers start to go in the draft. So you need to really study, who the late round guys are that have massive potential for the coming fantasy season, because rounds 11 through 14, that's when you're going to draft these guys. So make sure to do a lot of research on that. That way you are prepared for rounds 11 through 14. And I'm going to be doing sleeper and breakout videos all through the entire offseason. So if you want to know specifically who these guys are, just keep watching my channel. I'm going to be doing tons of videos on who to take in the late rounds, because that's what takes the most research. And that's what, there's just absolutely not enough fantasy content on the later rounds because everyone's so focused on the earlier rounds. So I'm going to be doing a lot of content this offseason on late round sleepers. All right, rounds 15 through 16. This is pretty simple. Hopefully you were smart and waited on your defense and your kicker until rounds 15 and 16. If not, you need to rethink your draft strategy, because you absolutely should not take your defense and kicker until rounds 15 and 16. Now, I recommend go ahead and take your defense first and your kicker second. When it comes to a defense, just do your research and figure out who the top defenses are going to be. But I honestly recommend streaming a defense throughout the season. And then when it comes to your kicker, make sure to take a kicker that has the combination of talent and it makes field goals at a high percentage, and more importantly than anything, plays in a good offense. All right, guys, I do appreciate you tuning into my video. Those are my recommendations for all 16 rounds of the draft. Hopefully this video helped. I do appreciate you guys tuning into the video. and I will catch you later.